Assault survivors go to the hospital for help, but sadly, many leave with a medical bill costing them thousands of dollars in an exam to assist with the investigation.
Now there's a push for a new bill on the federal level to cut those costs. 9 News reporter Darius Johnson is joining us now. And Darius, there are already laws in place to help with this.
Hey there, Gary and Corey. Good morning to you both. You know, there are multiple laws. There is one law just from 2020 and then another law just from 1994. In 2020, the No Surprises for Survivors Act stated that a forensic exam should be considered an emergency service. And then in 1994, the Violence Against Women Act went into law where sexual assault victims shouldn't be charged for a forensic exam where evidence is collected for an investigation. But some of those victims were charged because of hospital error and because the exam was not conducted by a sexual assault nurse examiner. The New England Journal of Medicine shows most emergency visits in 2019 related to sexual assault resulted in out-of-pocket costs up to $3,000. That's why lawmakers are now pushing for this change.
When someone is experiencing this level of trauma, to then burden them with this sort of financial and administrative task is egregious. And so I think that is why Congress is trying to act and make this as simple as possible for the survivors.
Now, if passed, this proposed law will be part of a broader mental health and consumer protection bill package that could take effect next year, Gary and Corey.
So you were talking earlier about how you say this only covers that initial forensic exam.
Yeah, so, you know, the one thing about this is it'll cover that initial forensic exam. So collecting those samples of blood, urine, hair, skin, or anything like that that can be used as DNA evidence that could be pertinent to an investigation. However, the victims and survivors still endure additional medical costs like pregnancy tests, testing for sexually transmitted diseases, and things of that nature. And currently, there are only 17 states in the country that cover the cost of STI testing, including HIV preventatives and emergency contraception. Colorado does not cover any of those, but there are some states nearby like Wyoming and Utah that does.
So I assume that this new bill is going to help cover some of those.
Yeah, I'm assuming, you know, it really comes down, I believe, by a state-by-state basis. So that really will depend on the state and whether they want to be able to take on some of those things. But I will tell you, it was very shocking to kind of look at the map over all of those 50 states and being able to see, you know, Colorado, for example, is a state that supports abortion and things of that nature, but to see that they don't provide STI testing or pregnancy tests or things like that, those things aren't covered.
Yeah, very surprising.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Darius. Appreciate it.